We're at 20 foot per second residual. That is probably due to down track error. We're at 20 foot per second residual. That is probably due to down track error.
Roger, we concur with the logic.
Alright, well, wouldn't be the Canadian tech prepper without actually doing some tech. I wasn't going to film this because, I don't know, YouTube seems like a counterproductive exercise, but I've learned a lot off YouTube, so this is my attempt to give back to the community. I've got this Dash DRZ 400 speedometer tachometer dash unit. This is an American version, miles per hour, and therefore I swapped it out with the original, but the electrics are good, but the problem is actually this little doohickey here. So the cable comes in here, spins around, and it spins this wheel, which goes between two magnets, and it measures the resistance. The issue is that if you can see here, you can see the wheel going up and down. When there's any pressure applied from the cable, it actually pushes up. You can see there that there's zero clearance between the sensor and the actual wheel. So the solution was, I had this piece of hard steel from the muffler installation, and I had sort of wound it up through one of these holes, and then sort of, this is not the right hole, it was in the other hole, but it was actually holding the center of the wheel in place so that it couldn't rise up. The problem was that it started squealing, and I couldn't stand it. You know, metal on metal as I'm driving. It's a small noise, but I'm anal about these things. So the solution is to use some of this ABS plastic, which I just got from the local plastic store. Thank you, petroleum industry. I'm your biggest fan. So I've got this little piece of plastic here, and what I'm going to be doing is, well, this is the second prototype. The first one broke because I fiddled with it too much. I heated it, and I was trying to bend it in place. But I thought that I would show you, for all those keenly interested, why and how I've removed this. So you take this assembly. On the back side there are 4 screws, and then there's 2 additional screws here. First we're going to take out the 4 corner screws, and I've already sort of pre-unscrewed them so that this is a bit faster because I've done this multiple times with both units. Alright, so once you take those 4 screws out of the corner, the reason I'm doing this is because these units are easily $500 American, which is about $10,000 Canadian. Right, so you disassemble it, and this is the inner guts. There's 2 screws here, and there's also a grounding clip that is not on this one, it's actually on the other one. But if you take these 2 screws out, and then there's 2 screws on the back, you can separate the housing completely from the electronics. So this is the assembly that we need to replace, and on the back there are 2 more screws that we just take out here. You'll want a fine screwdriver, Phillips bits, right? And then that just pops out. You can put that to the side. So this is the identical unit. Identical unit, identical problem. The cable pushed too hard. If I can get it in the camera here. Pushed too hard, and you can see that it's pushed right up, and it's actually melted the top and the bottom of that assembly. Can you see that? It's melted the top and the bottom. So what we need to do is keep some sort of restriction on that wheel from coming out. Now, this was all working. No problem, but I wanted to replace the squeaky wire that was holding it in with a piece of plastic. I'm sure there's a better solution that involves bearings, but this is the ad hoc method that I'm using. It's a piece of plastic that I've cut. It's about 3/8 inch wide, and I am using a blowtorch to melt it and bend it. So here we go. It's just short. What I want it to do is to pinch. I just want it to pinch right into the top of that wheel where I put in a bit of grease. Oh, that was the other thing. Everything was going well. The plastic piece started squeaking. So in my brilliance, I put in a bunch of grease on this one. And when I did that, it failed. Sounded not, got rid of the squeaking, but it failed. So what I had to do is I cut these wires and I reused the connection because the other connection was lost. You can see here I've soldered these ends and I've tested them, right? So I had a continuity test to make sure that the wires run to the circuit board, all 3 leads get a response. The issue is that it's not reading speed through to the motherboard. And so I'm trying, I think I'm going to have to use the mile per hour main board and just hopefully that works. But this is the process of just adapting this piece so that I can get it. But obviously I need to cut it a bit longer because it's not going to fit into that wheel. Anyways, I'll keep you updated. So one of the reasons why these videos take so long is just the process of disassembling, analyzing what parts are needed, ordering those parts, waiting for those parts, testing the parts, reassembling. It just takes a huge amount of time. So I really do appreciate everyone who's subscribed, and I know there's the ubiquitous like and subscribe, but this isn't really a channel for making money or subscriptions. This is just me sort of documenting in an attempt to kind of give back and give some of the information, because maybe you have the same problem with your bike, I don't know, or you just have a perverse curiosity with somebody who buys cheap old used motorcycles and fixes them up half-assedly. So yeah, so the end result was that after doing a bunch of tests with the OEM dash cluster, it just didn't work out. And I don't know if the sensors were failed or what was the problem, but I was just so fed up with nitpicking around with this stupid gear that Suzuki put together here that I ended up just buying an aftermarket speedometer and with a mechanical drive, which was key because it had to just fit, plug and play. And anyways, the rest of the video is just me putting that together using some ABS plastic, bolting it to the frame, and then doing the wiring. And yeah, so there you go.
And MTD launch director, you have a clearance to launch. I copy, thank you.
99, proceeded, 3, 2, 1, ignition. Right away, Houston. Vector grid. X-Rod.
Roger, you have good thrust.
Roger, we can stir up a lot. 99, proceeded, 3, 2, 1, ignition. Right away, Houston. Vector grid. X-Rod.
Roger, you have good thrust. We're at 20 foot per second residual. That is probably due to downdraft there.
Right, so that's not working out. This little sensor is gone, so we're doing away with the OEM dash. I've already bought one. It's failed twice. It'll fail again. So I got this little aircraft dial. Hopefully it works. I'm gonna wire it up, test it out, see how we do. So here's the end result. I actually did away with the dash assembly. I did take the gear cluster, or the light cluster, because rewiring it to the aftermarket speedometer was proving to be a challenge. And so this works as expected. And so it's just I melted a bit, bolted it onto a piece of ABS plastic, and then wired the aftermarket dial in. And I actually prefer the dial. The only thing it doesn't have is a clock, which I don't need. But the important thing is the mileage. And it looks cool, like I'm flying an old P-51 Mustang. So I took the mount off, made a plastic bracket for the existing bolt holes went, and then just put 3 bolts in here, you can see, and then mounted this on, and yeah, let's see how it goes. Updates: the jet kit and the muffler in combination add significant more power just to get off the line. Runs smooth, and yeah, pretty straightforward. Starts every time, but the starting issue was more to do with the valve shims, and not the carburetor. I've gone over that in previous videos, but yeah, there you go. You can see our speed. Which is key, and that's what we're going for. So hopefully this holds up, because the OEM Suzuki tachometer, no bueno. Anyways, I'm out.
Very smooth touchdown.